to today's actually Saturday, May 10th, Team Mission Probable training hangout. And today we're going to go back over some things that we covered 2 weeks ago. And if you remember last week, we had an absolutely phenomenal training session with Big Paulie, and he was able to share some of his blogging secrets and secrets to getting eyeballs on his blog post. And we're going to go back over a lot of that today, and we're actually going to dive today into getting the actual tools to work for you. We're going to go step by step through using some of the tools that we discussed last week. So, first thing we want to do is, like I said, we're going to get back into some of the things that we covered 2 weeks ago, since there was some technical difficulties that prevented us from doing everything that we wanted to do last week. So with that being said, let's see if I can get this screen to share here. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Beth. If you got something to say, go ahead and make that announcement, because I haven't read that yet, so I'd love to hear that.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I just wanted to mention to all of you that are already in Empower, or any that are looking to get in, Dave Wood put out a post this week that was amazing. He's talking about the future of Empower. He's talking about getting back to basics. It's like an 87-minute video. It's basically his part of the Monday night call with him wandering around his office. But if you have not listened to that, watched that, make that a priority. He goes over what counts as all in. He's talking about bringing back all in and the special things that are going on for that. There is so much information and positive news in that if you haven't watched it, do that as soon as we're done the hangout, okay?
Okay, great, Beth. I appreciate that, and that was definitely on my to-do list as well, and I hadn't got a chance to do it, so
it's well worth doing. I listened to that this morning, and it's actually rather energizing.
There's not a whole lot from Dave that isn't, but I want to second what Beth was saying there. With all the changes that are going on with Empower Network, and even though there've been a couple of little things that have been perceived as negative, believe me, they weren't negative. They were misunderstandings. They've been dealt with. It's time for everybody to move on. And what I see as temporary departure of David Sharp, I honestly believe he's going to be back, but time will tell on that. David Wood has really stepped up and has become the leader that everybody expected him to be, and nothing but positive is going to come out of all these changes. I really believe that, and I hope that everybody sees it that way, and that we can move on and just build our businesses the way that we should, rather than dwelling on a couple of things that have come out in the last couple of months. With that being said, just in case anybody didn't see the post, I'd like to remind everybody that questions will be answered via post at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Team Mission Probable, all one word, and there's a thread already started on the top left-hand corner entitled Creating Massive Blog Exposure for Your Business. So if you have any questions, have any comments, go ahead and post them there. Beth's going to be monitoring that, and we'll make sure to get to everybody's questions at the end. So let me see if I can share this screen here, and we will get this thing rolling.
Just a quick note, Jeff, I'm not seeing that thread on the Facebook page. I'm just going to go make a post and pin it to the top so everybody can find it.
That'll work.
All right, folks, there's no image attached, but the post is now live. And I'm just going to pin it to the top of the list so that it is easier for you guys to find.
Okay, let's see if I can get the slideshow to come up here. There we go. Beth, can you see that full screen?
I can see that. It's not quite full screen, but it does appear to be relatively readable from this end.
Okay, so it is the, you're not seeing my PowerPoint program, you're seeing the actual slide though.
No, I'm seeing the PowerPoint program.
Oh, come on.
I'm seeing the slides down the side. Just need to go into presentation.
Yeah, I already did that, but it's showing up on the wrong screen.
Yeah. As long as the slides themselves are readable, I don't think anybody's going to mind.
All right. The only thing is I can't get out of it now. All right, hang on just a second here. Gotta love Hangouts. This is a learning progress for us, folks, so bear with me. I'm still learning to do this after, what is it, our 4th or 5th week of doing this.
Yeah, you get better every week. You'll get it figured out.
Yeah, I know.
All right. And just in case, folks, I do have the Skype group open, so if for some reason you can't find the spot to post on Facebook, you can do so through Skype, but it definitely would be better to contain it all on Facebook.
All right, so what I'm going to do here, since the problem seems to be with me trying to use multiple screens, is I've moved everything over to one screen, and if you guys would let me know if you're seeing what I want you to see now.
I'm seeing just the slides now, Jeff.
Okay, great. So 2 weeks ago, we started out on trying to talk about how do we create, eyeballs on our blogs. How do we use our blogs to create massive exposure for our business? And in doing so, we talked about a lot of social syndication strategies. Last week, Paulie went into just a ton of things, and I've added a few things to these slides based on what Paulie talked about last week, and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about each one of them individually. And at the end of this, I'm going to actually get into a few of these tools and show you step by step how to use them. And again, all of this stuff that we're talking about is available in detail, and we don't have time to talk about it on, each and every webinar in depth, because there are hours and hours of training available in the Empower Network 15K formula, the Empower Network Viral Blogging Academy, and the Prosperity Team Blog Bootcamp on a much smaller scale. I mean, everything that Mike Hobbs talks about in the Blog Bootcamp, everything that I'm talking about on these webinars, almost everything that Paulie talked about last week, they're talked about in great detail in the 15K formula in the Viral Blogging Academy. And again, if you're new and you don't know what those products are, you need to get into your Empower Network back office and, look at those resources and buy those resources. Not only are you going to learn an incredible amount that's going to, absolutely help you explode your business, but you're going to make accidental commissions on these products by using the training that we're going to go through today and that was covered last week. So the easiest free exposure, and this is something that we're all starting to get better on, and I've even been a little bit lax on it, but I went in and a couple people actually posted to the Skype group today. I shared their blog post on Google Plus. I tweeted them. I liked them. I commented on them, and these things, believe it or not, actually help Google recognize your blog posts. So we need to be posting each other's blog or posting your blog posts to the Skype groups because the blog beast does a really nice job of letting your direct upline and all of your downlines see your blog posts. But for example, if you're not personally sponsored by me, I'm not going to see your blog post within the blog beast every time I log into Empower Networks. So it's important that we use the Skype groups to share each other's blog posts and comment on them, share them on Twitter. And I know one concern that people have is sometimes we put our links in our blog post. And you look at somebody's blog post and you think, oh man, there's links in there to their page. I don't know if I want to share that. Well, let me tell you something. If somebody clicks on that link and, let's say, joins one of their resources, I'm going to tell you right now that if we're all doing this for each other, we're all going to get more than our fair share. So, if you're scared of that, I'm going to tell you in just no uncertain terms, get over that fear, because what you lose, you're going to gain 10 times if we all do this for each other. I mean, you're going to get more than you lose. I know this. I've been doing it with some people, and that's just the way it is. So if you have that fear, I'm just going to encourage you to get over it. So we talked in great deal last week about places to syndicate, and I'm going to try to go into depth a little bit on each of these. And some of them don't need a whole lot of explanations, but I'm going to do my best to give you an idea of what I mean when we talk about each one of these. The easiest place to get some serious exposure is social networks. And, I'm just going to lump a bunch of them in, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter. And the easiest ways to do that is just to take a link to your blog post, and we're going to talk about the right way to do that here in a little bit. But, I'll touch on it real briefly here. The absolute best way to make sure that your link gets seen, because Facebook doesn't accept Empower Network links. So if you're using the Empower Network blog, you cannot post a raw link to your Empower Network blog because it's going to say Empower Network in it. So the best way to do this is to get your own domain and set it up so that it's your domain / the title of the blog post. If you don't know how to do that, get with myself, get with whoever your upline is. There's actually instructions in the Empower Network blog, but it's a little bit hard to find. So get with one of us. We'll show you exactly how to do it. There's tools like Social Media Bar and other things that will allow you to mask your blog post so that you can post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+. So basically all you're doing with Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and even Twitter is, we talked about in previous trainings, especially when we talked about ad copy, you want to create a very powerful title for your blog post. And, that title should be enticing enough to get somebody to read it. So you're going to post the title and then a link to your blog post to Facebook. You're going to do it in any groups that you belong to, if they allow that kind of thing. You want to be very careful about that and make sure that you know the rules of each group, because it's a good way to get yourself kicked out of groups or even banned from Facebook if you do it the wrong way. You can do it with fan pages, and you can also do it on your wall. LinkedIn is the exact same procedure. You're going to post something to your wall, make it public. Google+, Twitter, it's all pretty self-explanatory. Again, if you have questions, get with myself or your upline and we'll explain it. IBO Toolbox, you can post things on your wall, and you can also do press releases. I'm actually going to cover that in detail at the end of this slideshow. Empire Avenue is an absolutely phenomenal tool. I'm going to go into that a little bit. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because, as we talked about last week and the week before, Empire Avenue is one of those tools that, kind of like Facebook, if you're not careful with it, it can become an incredible, huge time suck. You can get to the point where you're going to spend so much time on it that you're not being productive in the other things that you need to do. So you need to be real careful with these things. Social Monkey is a very good, easy-to-use tool. I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to share my screen and show you how to use that as well. Social Adder is one of my favorites. Like Social Monkey, and I'm going to go back here, and Empire Avenue, there's free and paid ways to do it. If you're a free member of Social Monkey or Social Adder, there's things that you do to get credits to post your blog posts and get them shared. They do have paid resources. Social Adder calls it the lazy way, which is the way I do it. So I don't have to go in and spend time with credits. We all of these things have affiliate programs attached to them. In other words, you can make money by promoting them. Now, none of us are really into promoting these as primary ways to make money, but I like to think of all these affiliate programs as ways to make money to spend on advertising our Empower Network business. So it's very important, again, that, and I didn't post any links here because I want to make sure that we keep the lines of sponsorship. I know you've heard me say this before, but we keep the lines of sponsorship intact, and that whoever deserves the commissions on these things gets them. Instant Blog Subscribers is just a really neat platform that is a ready-made blog that you can basically copy and paste your blog posts to. You can earn credits to send it out to all those people, and just another way to get it shared. Fiverr is an absolutely incredible resource, and like its name, Fiverr, for $5 you can do a whole heck of a lot of things with your blog posts. You can get people to tweet them, you can get people to transcribe videos to turn into blog posts, you can get people to do shares, likes on your Facebook page. Too many things for me to actually go into detail on. I encourage you to go over there, Fiverr.com. It's spelled just like I have there, and create a free account and just see what they have to offer. Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, Jeff. Fiverr is actually 1VRR.
Yes. Yeah,
and
it is.
I want to just add a caution to you folks. If you're going to use Fiverr, be a little selective. Take a look and see what the ratings are for the person before you order whatever it is they're offering. If they don't have a high approval rate, it's going to be more of a waste of your $5 than a good use.
Yeah,
I think that Fiverr's awesome, but just folks, please use common sense and just be aware.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point, and I was actually going to touch on that, but
sorry,
that's okay. It's no big deal. That's what you're here for. But it's one of those things that you do have to be a little bit careful with, because you don't want to waste your money, and there are things that can be done if your articles are shared in the wrong way, which was the point that I was going to get to. It can hurt your Google rankings, so you do want to be a little bit careful with who you ask to do these things. ZinePal and eZine articles are another way to get your post out there, get eyeballs on them. Squidoo, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on. eHow, again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on these. These are all .com at the end of them. Take your time, go through them. They're great ways to get eyeballs on your articles, but ZinePal, eZine articles, they're not free, but they are very, very long time established sites with, we talked about Alexa ratings last night. They're just great ways to get eyeballs on your articles. Hub pages, Article Base, Examiner, Technorati, Buzzle, Voices.yahoo. These are, again, just places that you can post your blog post, get eyeballs on them, and they're resources that are very simple to use. They're very self-explanatory. You get in there, you spend a little bit of time, they'll be incredibly easy to understand. SoCool, I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain, because SoCool has a free program, and what you can do with their free program is a little bit limited. The only thing that I want to touch on is it's a little bit pricey. It's about $197 a year, but one of the nice things that SoCool has is you can actually post a blog post to a lot of these different resources that I'm going to touch on here in a minute. WordPress, Blogger, Tumblr, and a lot of these resources that I'm going to touch on in a bit, you can actually do a one-click post to all of them. So it is, $197 a year is a little bit of money, but depending on what your budget is, if you're more worried about your time than you are about the dollars, then it is a nice resource to be able to just one-click post to a whole lot of different resources. And again, get with your upline about that before you do anything with it. Everybody knows what Instagram does. The procedure's similar to Twitter. DocStock is more of a resource for getting content. eZine articles up there again, that's a mistake on my part. PRWeb is a paid resource to where you can actually do press releases all over the internet, and you want to talk about some serious Google juice, you're going to get a lot of love with a very little bit of time there. I touched on WordPress. You can get a free WordPress blog, and you can also take the time to host your own blog and install WordPress on it. We touched last week on the advantages and disadvantages, especially where it comes to cost. A really good WordPress blog is a great way to get your content out there and seen by a lot of eyeballs. But when you talk about hosting, when you talk about having somebody install it for you if you don't have the technical knowledge to do it, and then once you get a lot of eyeballs on it, what the bandwidth costs, starting that from scratch can be a heck of a way to do things, or I'm sorry, a difficult way to do things if you're not careful. So, if you're brand new and you're in the Empower Network already, you're paying for the $25 a month blog, stick to that. Once you become an expert on that, then you can go on. But the free WordPress blog, again, it's just another way to syndicate your blog across the net. Blogger.com is a phenomenal, easy way to get serious Google love because it's owned by Google. And last week was all about Google love. So if you don't know what I mean, I encourage you to go to youtube.com/Team Mission Probable and watch last week's training if you haven't already, or if you weren't here. TypePad, again, same thing, just another place to get eyeballs on it. Now, we talked earlier about just posting a title and a description, and I encourage you to get into as many forums as you can. Like the Warrior Forum is the most popular for internet marketers. There's a whole lot of other ones out there. Just go to Google, type in Internet Marketing Forums, and join some of the better ones. Warrior Forum's obviously the best, but there's a whole bunch of other ones out there. I mean, to cover all of them, it would probably take an hour. And, last week we went a good 2 hours. I'm going to try to keep today's training down to about an hour, and that's why I'm, going through these pretty quick, because they were all covered last week and the week before. And, this was meant to be a little bit of a review. So if you haven't seen all of this yet, go to the YouTube page. All of it was recorded, and you'll be able to see it again. Tumblr's just another easy blogging platform that's free. Encourage you to get an account there and post your stuff there as well. And like I said, Big Paulie went into great detail on all these last week.
I just posted your YouTube channel to the Facebook conversation as well as to the conversation here. So it is youtube.com/user/Team Mission Probable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now guest blogging. This is something that I want to caution you that you have to do this right, or it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. And you want to make sure that you do this the right way, or you're going to make enemies. First of all, if you're confident in your ability to create very, very good, relevant content, then this is a very, very powerful way to get eyeballs on your blog and, create some lasting friendship with other bloggers. But if you're brand new, I don't encourage you to do this right away. But the way to do it, if you've been doing this for a while and you're confident in your ability to create good, relevant content, basically what I do is I go on to Facebook and I go down through my friends and I look at their profiles, and if they have a blog, it's going to be in there. I click on their blog, I look at it, I see if it's relevant to the type of content that I create, and I'll just send them a message on Facebook and say, do you have guest bloggers on your site? And you're going to have a conversation back and forth, and first of all, like I said, you're going to want to make sure that you're going to create very relevant content to their blog. Then you're going to want to ask them if it's okay to put, links to your join pages, your Empower Network pages, links back to your blog. You want to make sure that all these things are agreed upon before you write your content, because if they're not going to post your content to begin with. And the other thing, if they're not all that big on putting multiple links in your content, then ask them if you can create multiple articles, if necessary, to get the links that you need back to your blog. Also ask them if you can put a link to your blog on their blog roll. The blog roll is a nice little box down the right-hand side that has permanent links that link to other things on their blog, and that's very powerful because you're going to get, especially if their blog is getting a lot of views, you're going to get some serious backlinks and some serious Google love and juice from that. So these are just some guidelines if you want to get into guest blogging that you really need to have down, and make sure that you get established with the blog owner before you go out and do any guest blogging. So let's get out of that, and hopefully you guys see me again. And
I can see you from here, so you should be good.
All right, we're going to take a minute now. Actually, we're going to take about a half hour now, and I'm going to get my screens where I need them to be. And we're actually going to okay. You guys should be looking at my blog right about now with a whole bunch of different tabs on it. And let me know if that's the case.
I see it here.
Okay, great. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go down through here, and I'm just going to select this blog post. You do that by clicking on the title. So now I've got the name of my blog and the name of my article as a link right here. I'm going to just copy that link, and we're going to go into a few of these different resources, and we're going to try to get some views on these pages. And before we do that, the first resource I want to talk about is Empower Avenue. And we're only going to spend a short period of time on this. I do want to give some love to one of the leaders in Empower Network, Chris Record. He is, in my opinion, probably the most prolific blogger in all of Empower Network. This guy gets, more signups, more views, makes more money with his blog than, anybody that I know. I mean, there's a lot of them out there that do, but not only does he do that, and I know it for a fact, but his training within the 15K formula is probably the most powerful training if you want to start making money with your blog on a daily basis. So again, another plug for the 15K formula. And I just want to say this. I am not trying to, of course I want to make money on the 15K formula, but I'm not giving you, I'm not doing these plugs just to sell 15K formula products. I am doing these plugs to let you know that if you're really serious about your business and you're really serious about making money with your blogs, you need this training. Not to mention you're going to make a heck of a lot of money selling the product, even by accident, if you do what we're teaching today correctly. So I'm going to go actually back to the home page of Empire Avenue, and I actually meant to start a new Empire Avenue account, like a dummy account, just to show you how to get started, but unfortunately I didn't have time to do it today. So when you log into Empire Avenue, you're going to see a whole bunch of different things that you can do to get rewards. So Empire Avenue is kind of like a stock market for social media. And you can do a lot of things on Empire Avenue. Not only can you get people to, take a look at your blog posts and share your blog posts, tweet your blog posts. You can get likes on your Facebook page. Again, like I said in the beginning, it can be a little bit of a time suck. You want to be careful with that. But in the beginning, you're going to just have to take a little bit of time and, play around with it a little. They do a really nice job when you get started in giving you missions to complete to get you EVEs, which is basically money. Think of it like dollars. And, confirm your email address, post your picture, so many different things. The only thing I haven't completed here was buy more EVEs and VEVs. I think I actually did, but they didn't give me credit for it. But they give you ways to get started so that you have what I'm going to call money, or EVEs, to post missions, and that's how you get people to do things for you, is you incentivize them with EVEs. The other thing that happens is people will actually buy your stock or your shares. It's like stock. I'm going to call it stock just for simplicity's sake. So they're going to buy that. It's going to give you EVEs. And, as you do more and more on Empire Avenue, your share value goes up. And as your share value goes up, you're going to get more and more love when you post missions. So what we're going to do here, though, is I'm going to show you how to post a mission. And, we're going to give people an incentive. And, you see my EVEs balance here. I've been a little bit active in here, is 1.5 plus million. So, I can actually do quite a bit here. So we got most of our getting started missions done. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. I'm going to click on missions here, and you can scroll down through all these different things. You can find things that other people want you to do, and you can earn EVEs that way, or money, however you want to look at it. But that's not what we want to do today. We want to actually create a mission and get a blog post looked at. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to copy my link.
Sorry, Jeff, I know I'm a pest, but I'm not quite sure if you mentioned whether or not that Empire Avenue is not someplace you want to just throw articles at.
No.
The ones you're posting have to be, right? Consider the best of your best articles go on Empire Avenue.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's a good point, and I didn't cover that, and I appreciate you doing that. You don't want to put just something that you just threw up to get content up. And there is courses on speed blogging in the 15K formula and in the Viral Blogging Academy. And by speed blogging, it means just putting up a nice short post to promote something or just to get some content up there. And you want to do that on a day-to-day basis, but it's also important that you get really good solid content up there on a regular basis, a good couple, 3-4 times a week on as a rule. And Empire Avenue, you don't want to waste your time, because people, if it's not good content, they're just not going to do anything with it. But I think this was a pretty good article. People do a lot of marketing on Facebook, and you don't want to make a lot of mistakes there, because you can get your Facebook page shut down, you can get your account shut down. So we're going to go ahead and share this one. So select a mission type. Basically, we want somebody to visit this web page URL. And mission title, I'm going to put in here. Oops, that ain't what I wanted. That's what happens when I try to go too fast. We're going to actually put the title of the blog post. And we're going to ask people to like and, because I'm gonna actually, you can get them to do multiple things, but if you're gonna do that, you're gonna want to make it worth their while. And I'm actually gonna make it worth their while and let them make lots of eaves for doing this. We're gonna ask people to like and share this blog post. So describe the page and describe the page and content. So I should have done this beforehand. In fact, here we're just gonna go down through this, because it take me too long, as slow as I type, to type out a good thing. So you want to make a compelling description of the content and the page. And for example, my page is all about marketing strategies, marketing tools, and marketing resources. So you're going to want to basically sell your content. And if you don't know how to do that, if you're brand new, go back to the trainings I did on the YouTube page that Beth posted for creating compelling content. And there are 2 trainings that are very, very specific on exactly how to do that. So here we're going to post the link. We're going to select a reward type, and we're going to do eaves fixed, because it's I basically said like and share. Now, if it was scaled, you would have them do multiple things, and each thing would give them a specific reward for each thing that they did. So, if I wanted them to like, share, tweet, I may give them 5,000 for liking it, 5,000 for sharing it, 5,000 for tweeting it. But in this case, I just want it liked and shared, and I'm going to offer, say 15,000 eaves. Eaves rewards, select an amount, and we'll just say 10,000. Number of rewards, I may want 50 people to do this, so I'll do 50. I've got plenty of eaves, so it doesn't really matter. This is for everyone, is how I recommend doing it. And from country, that's obvious. Whatever country that you're in, select a network. It's a blog. Select an interest. This one goes well in either blogging or business. I'm going to put business. And then share with shareholders. I've had a ton of people buy shares, so we definitely want to send as a shareholder mail and hopefully get them to promote it as well. That's going to cost me 14,650 EVEs. So if you don't have a lot of EVEs, I wouldn't recommend doing this in the beginning, but I've got plenty. So once I go back and write a nice detailed description of my blog and this post itself, then I can go ahead and post that, and every person that does it, they're going to get a 10,000 EVE reward. So that's...
I'm going to just pop in and add something,
yeah,
of course. Sorry. If you scroll up just a little bit, you can see over there on the right-hand side where it says mission cost, you can actually see what it's going to cost you, and then you can go in and you can kind of shift and edit until you can afford the cost. Good
point. Very good point. I'm kind of new to this, and I've got some freaking many EVEs. I haven't even really looked at that. But I mean, this is going to cost me a good portion of my EVEs, but to get 50 people to look at it, and if I want it, like she said, if I want it to cost a little less, I could make this 30. You can see it basically cut it in half. So that's a great point, Beth. I know I keep you around here for some reason. All right, let's move on to Social Monkey. This is another one that's fun. I mean, it's not as much fun. It's not as much of a time suck. It's actually pretty easy. But there are a couple little points that I need to make about this, because if you don't know how to do these things and you don't take the time to do them, then it gets a little bit crazy. So again, I went up here, submit a URL. Now, Social Monkey has a whole bunch of different levels, and what these different levels do for you is they basically, I'm an elite member and an ambassador member, so I can actually submit 3 URLs every day to 150 social bookmarking sites a day, and as an ambassador member I get an extra 1 or 2 or something like that. I don't remember what it is, but you can look at all the different members, talk to your upline about it, because again, it's very important that we join these things under the right people, and again, it's also important that you talk to your upline about your budget and make sure that you're not spending money where you shouldn't be spending it, because there's a lot of different ways to do things with your money, and honestly, I think if you're on a limited budget, your money's better spent on, guaranteed clicks, either through solo ads or other programs, traffic brokers and things of that nature that we can talk about on a later date. But I'm just going to go ahead and paste my URL in there. Now, title. And you see how it's got these little symbols in here. Basically, when you use a lot of these tools like Social Ad or Social Monkey, they're going to let you put 3 titles in, and they want you to put them in Spintax format. And Spintax format is these squiggly little brackets. I don't know what they're called. The pipes, I do know what that's called, to separate each of the title, and then closed in by these squiggly little brackets. So I'm sure Beth knows what they're called, and I'm sure she's just dying to pipe up and tell everybody. But
I actually, off the top of my head, I don't think I remember. But yeah, I know it's usually the kind of that I remember.
They're on the keyboard. But I'll go ahead and I'm going to put my first one in there. 3 Facebook recruiting mistakes to avoid, and just get creative. I'm going to just make another one. Avoid these mistakes when...
While Jeff is typing, I'm just going to reiterate, folks, we do have a thread started over on the Facebook page. That is a better place to post your questions. I'm more likely to see them there.
Promoting on Facebook. And one more. Facebook promotion mistakes to avoid. Just take your title and change the wording of it is all you really need to do. And again, I'm not going to take the time to go through all of this, but you're going to want to do the exact same thing with your description. You're going to want to make a 1-paragraph description, and you're going to do it in, the 1 paragraph. You don't have to spin it, so really I could just put 1 paragraph in here to describe it, and honestly, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just do it. I'm going to take the first paragraph of my copy here because it actually is relevant for this, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm not even going to spin it, but you can do as many as 3 descriptions by spinning it, and you're actually going to get a lot more Google love if you take the time to do that. Tags, I mean, these are easy. Internet marketing is always going to be one. Facebook marketing for this article is very relevant. Let's see. Social media. And you don't have to do 8. Just make sure that they're relevant. I might put Empower Network in there just because it's a great keyword that gets a lot of searches. And, there's going to be a link to my Empower Network page in there somewhere, usually. I might put my name in there because people do search my name. There's a few famous people out there that have the same name, and I get some Google searches every once in a while. It's business related. I leave these things alone. I do not even mess with them. Oh, that's one of the things my ambassador level gets me is an extra 25 sites. YouTube, I would leave this alone unless you have a YouTube video that is in your ad, and in that case you put the exact link to the YouTube video. So preview and submit to 150 sites. And even with me explaining that, that took less than 5 minutes. So now that that article is going to be submitted to 175 sites, and these are all PR sites. So just great love for your article in 5 short minutes. Social adder, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on. Basically, social adder, and I'm not going to go and do one because you use the exact same technique and the exact same things using the spin tax. But you see up here I got 1,292.2 credits. You can purchase credits, or you can actually complete tasks like sharing other people's blog posts to get credits. They do have, like I said, a lazy membership where if you want to pay, it's not very expensive, that all you have to do is go in and submit your articles. So you can see up here, I've only been using it a short period of time, but I've had 485 shares of my bookmarks. Another thing that happens here is people tweet them, they favorite them on their tweets. This is by far my favorite of all the tools that we're going to talk about. Now, IBO Toolbox is also a great one because there's so many different things you can do on IBO Toolbox. And this is probably the last one that I'm going to talk about, in depth today, because there's so many different things that are out there. And we're going to go back through the slideshow probably real quick, just in case you didn't get time to write a lot of these things down. But IBO Toolbox is a free social network for internet marketers. It's marketers helping other marketers. If you don't have a membership here, it's...
Get with your upline.
Get with your upline, get the link, because as you promote it, you get free credits for promoting it. There's other ways to get free credits, and basically the way that we're going to syndicate our blog post here is we're going to come over here, click on press release, and we're going to send out our blog post as a press release. And I got to check and make sure that I'm not sending one that I've already sent. I think I got two. Yep, I got two of them here all ready to go. So it's as easy as copy and paste for the most part. And, I got to do a little bit of editing, but you're going to take the title here. And, you can take some time, and some of you know what this means and some of you don't, but you can actually do your H1 tags and H2 tags and H3 tags to make this a little bit more Google friendly. But for the most part,
you can literally copy and drag from your blog into this press release, and it brings all the formatting with you.
Exactly, and I haven't used this post in my blog, so I'm just doing this to show you how to do it. You can promote any.
You get extra points if you do it as one that is just on, like, that is unique to IBO. They'll give you extra points for it.
Exactly, and this one's totally unique to IBO. I haven't posted this on IBO or my blog yet, and I'm not going to do this because it's not totally formatted and ready, but I just want you to see how to do this. Put whatever website you want to promote in here. I would also, at the end of every blog post, put an about the author, say great things about yourself. You can even embellish a little bit, it doesn't hurt. Make yourself sound like an expert on whatever topic it is that you're talking about, and then put, at the end of it, for more information, put a link back to your blog article, put a link back to just your blog in general, or even put, your join link for Empower Network. If it's something to do with Empower Network, or if it's something to do with iPass, put your iPass join link in there, and also put it up here. One of the things that I do is I actually will put whatever website that I primarily want them to look at up here. Keywords do the same thing I just did with keywords before. But you can go in here and, success is one of the things in the title. So I might go down through here, as I'm formatting this to make it look pretty. I may take something and hyperlink it and bold it. I may have links to 2 or 3 different sites through here by hyperlinking, certain words like network marketing business, things of that. Network marketing leader would be another good one to hyperlink. And you could have links to a lot of different things. I would concentrate on linking back to your blog and maybe having, a link to something relevant to the article as well. But every time you do this, you get, I believe it's 100 credits. Am I correct, Beth? And you can do 2 of them a day. Each of them's worth 100.
I think they're worth 20. Actually, with it being unique, you're going to get more.
With them being unique, they're worth 100. If they're not unique, and you'll see,
they're worth 20.
Yep. And what you do is, if the content was copied, you put content was copied. If the content's authentic, you put the content's authentic. If it's copied, you put the link to the original content here, and then you check and say that they're you're following the rules. Once you publish it, you're going to get credits up here, and I'm going to show you real quick what you can do with these credits.
And just as a side note, you must have at least 350 words, or it will not publish.
Correct. But that, what? That's a good point, and honestly, about 400 words is, I would say, a minimum for a decent blog post. So if you're kind of using that as a guideline, you'll never have a problem with IBO Toolbox. Once you go down through here, I've got a whole bunch of banners in here, and I've got one here for iPass 2, or we'll preview it. It looks something like this, and it links to my iPass 2 free join page. But you can do banners. Banners seem to work a little bit better than text links. You can also do text links. And what happens is, as you build up these credits by submitting press releases and commenting on other people's press releases and things of that nature. Again, IBO Toolbox is such a massive thing. You just have to get in here and play around with it. But you can use these things to get free banner advertising. And you can see some of my banners are up there around 8%, and even 3% click-through rate is really good for banners, but 8 and 9% is absolutely phenomenal. So it's a great way to get free advertising for your business.
You also, sorry, I know. You can upload your videos here as well, which IBO is so highly regarded by Google that frequently your IBO post may actually show up first in the search engines because IBO is such a massive platform and we are actually able to leverage that. So whenever you're doing videos, it certainly is very worthwhile to come over here and upload them here as well.
Yep, and you can do that right here, IBO tool or IBO tube. There's a spot that does it for you, and then it goes on IBO tool. You do it here in your back office up here, and then it goes on IBO tube. But when you post your blog post, it's pretty cool. And I mean, honestly, there are thousands upon thousands of marketers on here 24 hours a day promoting their different things. But not only are they promoting things, but they're looking for different things. And if you're putting really good content out there, people are going to look at it, they're going to comment it, they're going to become associates of you, and these are people that you network with. And what happens is every time you do a press release, it's automatically posted right up here on the wall for everybody to see and click on. So it gets out there for everybody immediately to see. So great way to get a lot of eyes on your blog post very, very quickly. People get credits for sharing them and liking them, so you're going to get a lot of love. And I don't know how they do it, but they're tied in with Google and a whole bunch of other things. If I go back to the press releases real quick here, it's over here. It actually tells you, yeah, you receive 100 bonus points right there. But somewhere up here, it tells you all the different places. Here it is. Tied closely with Google, Bing, and Yahoo searches, and all the different places like IBO gigs and IBO newsletter, other places within IBO that it's posted. So one of the greatest free resources out there, and I think I'm just about done with the stuff that I wanted to share today. I mean, we could get into how to do this on Facebook, but I think it's really, really simple in the way that I explained it earlier. And I hate it when I say Social Monkey, Social Adder, and Empire Avenue are, of the free resources that we covered, probably some of the most powerful. If there's any specific questions, I think now's a good time to get to those, because I think I've run out of content for today.
I'm just going to add just a real quick note on IBO Toolbox. They are actually ranked in the top 2,000 websites in the U.S. Through Alexa.com, and their global rank
I did not know that. That's awesome.
5,524th global. So they are definitely right up there as high PR sites. Certainly helps to get your blog posts out there and people's eyes on them.
And for those of you who weren't here last week, what that means is basically Alexa is a service out there that rates websites by the pure number of views that they have, compared to all the websites out there. And we talked last week about, one of the reasons why the Empower Network blogging platform is so powerful is we're leveraging Empower Network's Alexa ranking, which helps us rank on Google. And Empower Network last week was somewhere right around 500 in the, somewhere in the world, and right around 250 in the nation. So, the fact that IBO and Empower Network have such high rankings on Alexa makes it a very, very valuable tool for us to use to post our content. So let's get into any questions or comments that we have, and then we're going to wrap this thing up today. I was actually able to keep things to an hour for a change.
We had one question from Marion Latham that I answered in text, but you may want to go into it a little bit more. She wanted to know what an EVE was. Maybe if you want to cover how you can earn them, etc.
Sure. Let's go back to Empire Avenue here real quick. Let's see.
And folks, while Jeff's pulling that up, do feel free to post your questions to the Facebook group. I do have that page open, and I will be monitoring it so that Jeff gets all of the questions answered today.
Okay, EVEs are money. Think of EVEs like dollars. And EVEs are exchanged on Empire Avenue by either, if you're a free member, the way to get them easiest is to complete these different missions. And let's go down through here and see if I can actually complete one real quick. This one looks pretty easy. So check out @ValuedMerchants on Twitter for a 5,000 EVE reward. So,
Jeff?
Yes.
You don't want to copy that over to Twitter. You need to use the links within Empire Avenue, or it won't count.
There it is. Thank you.
You're welcome. I spend a reasonable amount of time on this site, folks. That's why I actually...
And I actually was signed into Twitter earlier, so... But looks like I have to do it again. So we're going to go ahead and do this here real quick. If I can remember my password. So we've already done it. Complete. And it's completed. I should have an extra, I think it was 5,000 or 15, yeah, 5,000 EVEs. I didn't really look at my...
Something else that I'll mention, just because I do a reasonable amount of these. Once you've completed the mission, you have the opportunity to rate it and comment. The more you rate it, the more people are going to see you, the more they're going to be willing to look at your stuff. So once you've completed the mission, then there are a couple of other little things you can do that will kind of leverage that a little bit. And if Jeff's up for it, maybe I will do a short training on it at some point in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I would appreciate that, because I've only been using this for about a month, and Beth's been using it for a bit longer. So
7 or 8 months at least, I think.
Yep. So we like all the input that we can get, and again, that's one of the reasons why you're here with me. But another thing that will get you EVEs is people can actually purchase your shares. And, for example, you can go down here and find trending profiles, and we may want to invest in some of these shares. So I got, this guy, his shares are at 487.19, and if I wanted to use all my EVEs, I could purchase 200 shares. But let's go ahead and invest a few shares in this guy. Now, if this guy would do this, leave a post for James.
Leaving a profile post is a good way, again, to kind of get you more exposure. Do not, under any circumstances, people, do not slam people with your links.
Nope.
This particular social network is... We really, really, really don't want to give Empower Network a bad name with them. So develop relationships, connect with these people, communicate with these people, get to where they want to know what your link is. When you're leaving comments here, leave them positive, right? The last thing you want to do is become a spammer within Empire Avenue. I do believe they are likely to actually kick you out and ban you for life if they get.
They actually will. I do know that for a fact. They actually will, and that's another good point to make when you're, and I made the point earlier when we were posting links to our blogs on, anything. whether it's Facebook, whether it's forums, whether it's Facebook groups. You want to make sure that you follow the rules of these forums or these groups, or you will get banned from the forums, get banned from Facebook, and that's not only not going to help your business, but it, like Beth said, if you're just posting a whole bunch of links to join Empower Network or to advertise Empower Network, it's going to look badly on the whole business. And believe me, we've already had enough, I'm just going to say it, idiots out there screwing things up for those of us that do it right. And that's one of the reasons why we have to, hide our Empower Network link. We can't just post a link to our blog post because it says Empower Network in it. So that's why we either have to use our own domain, which is a good idea. It looks professional anyway, or use something like Social Media Bar to disguise the link. So hopefully, Marion, that answered your question. Glad you were able to make it today. And we definitely appreciate questions.
Agreed. So
because I mean, if you have the question, I guarantee that somebody else has the question. So there's no such thing as a stupid question, and the more of them that we get asked and answered on here, the more valuable these trainings are going to be, because I try to stuff a lot of information into an hour, and by doing so, I end up skipping over a lot of stuff that people want covered. So if I'm skipping over something that people want covered, then it's really important that you guys out there let me know that, hey, we'd like to see this covered, because if you end up not having the time to do it today, then it's important that I cover it at a later date. So if it's not related to today's training, then it may give me an idea for a future training. So please ask questions.
All right. Next question is from Sherry Hamilton. She'd like to know if you have a resource for a word counter. Now, just as a quick note on that, I do know that Microsoft Word does automatically count words, but Jeff, if you know of another one, maybe?
No, that's exactly how I do it. Is I do all of my blog posts in Microsoft Word before I move them over to my blog.
So that way you don't have to worry about losing them if something happens to your blog either. If you've got them all in Word documents, you can post everything back rather easily.
Well, and the other thing is, I would encourage everybody, when you're writing your blog post in Word, to make sure that Word has autosave on, and that's going to, if you step away or if you accidentally close it, it's going to save your work so that you don't lose any work that you've saved before. Or if the website, for example, if Empower Network's website has a hiccup, or your browser has a hiccup, or your internet connection has a hiccup, you're not going to lose your content that way. So I would highly, that's an awesome question, Sherry, and I'm glad that you asked it, because that's a just great way to keep you from losing anything that you've spent time and hard work and effort on creating.
Thinking about it, there are a number of people out there that use Microsoft Works instead of Microsoft Word, and it again, has a built-in word counter.
Oh, and what's Google's? I can't remember. What is it?
Google's is
something.org. OpenOffice.org.
Yeah.
You can get a free program at OpenOffice.org that does just about everything that Microsoft Office does, and it'll allow you to open Microsoft Office documents and edit them, and create documents for other people that use Microsoft Office that they'll actually be able to open if you can't afford Microsoft Office, or you don't want to spend the extremely exorbitant amount of money that they charge for it. So another good resource, and great question that brought out 5 different things that we might not have covered. Beth, can you check the thread on Google Plus just to make sure that people aren't posting there as well, because I know we end up getting a lot of questions and comments there.
Unfortunately, that is where most people are posting. I happen to have it open, and so that's where I was pulling the questions. But I'm not actually seeing any over on the Facebook page. So just, yeah, reiterate that, folks, I do keep a slightly better eye on the Facebook thread when we're on these Hangouts. I do, of course, have the Google Plus one open, but, right.
And I want to make a little point on that. You know, the reason for having a Facebook page is to get exposure for your business. And the reason, I'm just going to come right out and tell you guys straight up why I want the comments and questions there, aside from the fact that having them all in one place makes them so easy. I mean, I appreciate Beth and her input so much, but one of the main reasons that she's here and she's doing what she's doing is so that I can focus all my attention on putting out the content that I came here to put out today and make sure that you guys get, you know, somewhat seamless training. Because if I'm looking back and forth between screen to screen and page to page, then it distracts me and I get off topic. And, you know, Beth's doing us all a great service by fielding the questions and, you know, relaying them to me so that I don't have to do that. And by not posting them where we ask, it's making her job a lot harder. But the reason that I want them posted to the Facebook page is, you know, notice I didn't title this Jeff Altman's fan page. It's Team Mission Probable, and that's our team. I'm trying to brand our team and get exposure for our team. And the more content and more action that we have on that Facebook page, the quicker it's going to get recognized. And, you know, it also, all these questions, and I go back through as I see these questions on the Facebook page and answer them in text on the Facebook page, and that creates a lot of valuable content for all of our new people that are coming and looking at the Facebook page, and also just, you know, people coming in general and looking at the Facebook page. And, you know, as you create your own Facebook pages, the more valuable content you have on them, the more people are going to keep coming back to them. So that's the reason why, you know, on top of just making Beth's job a lot easier, we want those questions and comments on there, because we want that page to get the exposure that it's going to need as we, you know, continue to grow our team and grow our brand. And my goal with this brand, Team Mission Probable, is when iPass 2 launches, we're going to have the ability to brand our teams within iPass 2, just like Prosperity Team did within the original iPass. And, you know, that's exactly what I intend to do, is have these, you know, a blog within iPass for the team that has valuable training and valuable content on a weekly basis, and, you know, to have our team branded within iPass 2. That being said, I'm not going to try to replace the Prosperity Team. I mean, those boots are way too big to fill, and the training that Mike and his trainers do for us is way too valuable for us to miss. So, you know, my goal is to replace that by any means, but just to add to it and brand our team in the process. So, you know, let's hopefully all do our parts in helping make that a reality.
I'm not seeing any additional questions, folks, so now's the time to get them in. Right? You can post them to the pinned thread on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Team Mission Probable. Just a side note, I pulled Empower Network up in Alexa, and we are 285th in the US and 534th worldwide, which is pretty darn good when you think of the hundreds and hundreds of millions of websites out there. Any additional questions, folks? Points you would like Jeff to touch on? All right, no worries. Well, since it appears that we don't have any additional questions, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up today's hangout, let you get back to your Saturday afternoons. Certainly feel free to continue to comment on the Facebook page if there's comments you'd like to leave. We will continue monitoring that for the next little while. If you have recommendations or suggestions that you'd like us to cover something, please do let us know, and we will do our best to make sure that that stuff gets covered. So on that note, folks, you have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon, and we'll be back here same time, same place next week.